Nice. Nice.
Oh, man. I only realized now that was the name. Only when you pointed out and I see it in big pink letters. I'm like, oh, man.
For those who don't know what we're talking about today, Big Firebird Toys EX-01 Nice. Nice. So, this is something that was teased, God, I want to say a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
We were just shown literally just pieces of this in resin colors and CG mock-ups. We never saw the full product. We never saw the transformation. We never saw the car mode. We got it all now. We see it all now. This is a very polarizing topic. I know that certain Transformer message boards and websites didn't want to talk about this one. But if you want to see these in high res, not just the little pictures here that I post in our segments, go to tformers.com. They'll probably have it in their latest news. If you're seeing this posting a year later, 2 years later, just look at the date that this was posted, and then look for news postings around that time. So what are we talking about? We're talking about Big Firebird Toys' EX-01 Nicee, like I said, which is a third-party sexy attempt at G1 Arcee, done in the style that Japan is notorious for when they sexualize anything or any character like that. And Arcee already, by design, keep in mind, Floro Dery, the guy who designed Arcee, the guy who literally created Arcee's design, Floro Dery, he also responsible for all the other 86 guys with the exception of Ultra Magnus. Even though he created an Ultra Magnus design that they ended up using for Orion packs. He created all the designs for the 86 characters, and he created Arcee. And he was interviewed many years ago, and they asked him, what was the creative process behind this character? And his literal words, and I'm not joking here, was, I was making a naked Princess Leia. That was his exact words. Now, I've never seen...
When did
he was probably doing this...
Return of the Jedi.
Exactly.
That was afterwards, right?
Return of the Jedi was 1983. He was probably working on this 84, 85. So it was a very fresh Carrie Fisher, let's put it that way. You know what I mean? Who just got out of the gold bikini. So I can only imagine what Floro Dery's state of mind was all the way back in the Philippines. But yeah, so we have this here. We have the CG mock-up, and then we have the resin prototype. But the CG mock-up is done in full color and shows everything. Gives its height, shows how big it is. It's 190 millimeters, which gives it that, I want to say, because it's Arcee and she's an Autobot car, you could perceive this as a masterpiece scale, but could also be probably a large deluxe. Really depends. When I look at Sideswipe, the masterpiece, he could be in your deluxe display in a lot of ways too. You know what I mean? Same thing with the Datsuns and stuff like that. They're large deluxes if you take them outside of the masterpiece title. So she could kind of fall into this too. Now, what's amazing about it is that the fact that she's able to transform so successfully. Although, and I'm going to pre-emphasis this, she's doing a transformation very similar to the Gyro Zetter line. Gyro Zetter was a very successful line of transforming robots that actually beat Transformers Prime when it was on TV at the time. But one of the reasons why their designs were so nice was a lot of times the front of the car or the back of the car would become a shield or a large accessory. So they were able to have these streamlined, amazing robot modes because a large chunk of the vehicle mode would end up becoming a gun. Kind of like Big Convoy, I guess is the best way to put it. How a majority of that mammoth body became his gun. And that's why Big Convoy had such an awesome robot mode, because he didn't have to worry about so much of it. So that's the same thing going on here. Now, her transformation, obviously at the end of the day, is no different than a lot of previous Arcee toys that have existed up to this point. And she still turns into a very nice looking G1 looking Arcee car mode.
Right.
Nothing is sacrificed here, but she's more of a shell former this time around to achieve that more slender body and those shapes and stuff like that. Not to say that there hasn't been some masterpiece third-party attempts that have pulled it off anyways, but I guess in their case, they really wanted to have the busty boobs. They really wanted to have the big hips and to make it look nice like that and have those kind of poses. Now, again, there's a lot of polarizing in the fandom right now. A lot of people are either loving this or hating this. I've always said, it's toys. Let's all just have some fun. No one's getting hurt. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I've said this, I think, once in the podcast in the past. Many years ago, Takara, before they were Takara Tommy, they did a survey and they tried to find out what older Transformer collectors in Japan were buying outside of Transformers. This was around the time of Armada Energon. And they found that people who were buying Armada, Energon, and stuff like that, and Transformers were also buying, the girly anime figure stuff, the statues and everything like that. And that's how Kissplay came to be. Kissplay was created by Takara Tommy pretty much going, hey, we're going to research this and make a line dedicated to that audience. And then they hired a guy straight out of Wonderfest in Yuki Oshiyama, who was, if you look at his history before he worked on Kissplay, was a hentai ecchi artist,
Yeah.
So they, this is aimed at a very specific audience. And the reality is if you go on even like tformers.com and you look at, they have like a voting, right? Like how many people like this, how many people don't like this, right? And there's, over 900 people voted. And there's an enormous, of the 900 people, 72% of it voted, they love this. Like, it's great. Yeah. 5 out of 5, So there's a market for this. You know what I mean? There's a market for this. Will I buy it? Well, let's put it this way. If it's affordable, I'd buy it ironically. I mean, unironically, excuse me. But otherwise, I mean...
it's a third-party toy, who knows what the full price is going to be at the end of the day.
If this thing is $150, $200, Proto Man's going to spend $150, $200 on something else. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other things I'd rather spend that kind of money on. This thing's like $70, $60. You know what? Why not? If someone buys this for $150 and then, changes his mind or feels like his wife doesn't want him to have this or something, and he's selling it on the buy-sell trade for $60, I might pull the trigger, but it's not something I'm going to probably end up buying. I'm still waiting for my official Arcee from Takara Tommy, which one day I feel will come. I support something like this. Let people have fun, let people do crazy stuff. I've seen the flip side of it. There's a lot of male Transformer toys that I am guilty of this. I have made Transformer toys jokingly have penises. Take your G1 scatter shot, flip that cannon the other way. Hey, look at what he's got there. Hey, take Constructicon Scavenger, his combiner port. I've joked about that stuff when I was in high school. You know what I mean? So the flip side of it could happen the other way. Just Google Dirk Dinobot, and I apologize for anyone that's going to actually do that.
Why would you do that to people?
That is something that was created by the mainframe guys themselves. Let's all just have fun. If this is something that exists and people are willing to buy it and people are willing to buy it and enjoy it and nobody's getting hurt, so be it. And at the end of the day, Arcee's design from her creator herself, she was a naked Princess Leia. Now, I don't remember Carrie Fisher ever looking like this, but the point being is, even her design, when she was designed back in the day, had a little bit of, blueness to it to begin with. So, again,
and she stated when people asked, "What do I tell my daughter when they see this Princess Leia costume toy?" You tell her that a big slug man forced me to wear it, and I killed him with the chain that he kept me captive with.
Well, there you go. So this is pretty cool stuff. If you want to see the high-res images, go to tformers.com. That's probably the only place you could really see it because a lot of other news websites are choosing not to discuss this, but you're not going to have that here at Slag. We're going to talk about it regardless. Let us know what you think about this. Let us know if you're excited about it. If you think that they've gone too far, or if you think they haven't gone far enough, let us know.